L.O.A.D. And as you can see, we've just started. We've got a notification ourselves for us starting. Because apparently Discord likes to tell us that, yeah, we're doing stuff. So everybody will still get a notification who's ever in our Discord servers. All right, everybody. So we are live on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. And we are coming from the Model Rocketeers page. We're coming from Webc's page, Micheal Wimmer on Facebook, and the Model Rocketeer on Facebook, I believe, as well. Then we got our friend CM Howell in the house. So go ahead and say what's up,
Yeah.
Jay. And
What's up,
today,
people? Welcome.
oh yeah. And then along with that, guys, today we got episode 4 of Hellier, and it's already prompted on the screen, so you see what today's episode title is, Your Green Man. So season 2, episode 4, and yeah, here we are, Thursday before the Friday night. We're gonna do, I think, just crash in one episode, and then tomorrow we'll try to get 2 more episodes in. So that'll be 3 episodes this week altogether. All right, you guys. Hope everybody had a great Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I had a good one. I worked through it. But yeah, I hope everybody else out there had an awesome Christmas.
Yeah. Awesome. So I'm just gonna put my computer on full screen for me.
All right.
And then yeah, we're just gonna sit, hang back, and watch.
We had kind of put Hellier out of our minds. We knew that Carl was editing everything, and we just kind of let it go. One of the things that keeps popping up, even Tanya said this to us, the harder you look for it, the less you're going to find it. And with everything in this case, it seemed like every time we would just kind of stop and breathe and forget about it, some new weird lead would pop up.
Go chew on something else. Don't be chewing on it right over here by me.
How's everybody doing tonight? Everybody good? You're going to be good.
Go on.
You're going to be real good in about 10 minutes. Dan and I are doing a live stream for the museum members.
All right, just a recap, right? Where we are and where we've been with this team so far. They're a group of paranormal researchers who got this hot thread that's heavily linked to the Mothman and Injured Colt. They were originally told that they were going to be going to investigate goblins in caves. And then the whole story got twisted and warped. Get out of here. And I'm sorry, I'm just telling my dog, go lay down. She's over here gnawing on a hard femur, and all I can hear in the background is, you know,
Right.
no, go lay down. Go grab your hammer or something. Get something else that's not as noisy. All right. Such a turd. All right, so back to where we were. So this Injured Cold dude and the Mothman prophecies all tie into something about, look, it all ties into something about to do with this dude named Terry Wrist and his involvement with Injured Colt. Okay, and then so where we are right now is we are discovering who actually are these people, who their real names are, what their faces look like. We're about to find out like who these guys are and stuff. So, oh my God, is it that serious?
Sounds like it.
Thank you.
No. Bad. Sick. No.
Oh, just lost bone privileges. Well, that mom. That's what you get. All right. So I'm sorry. I'm a little distracted by what's going on with my dog. All right, we're gonna get into the show.
And you might notice that in the live stream, an email has popped up. And, you know, we use our phone to do the live stream most of the time, so we see the stuff that pops in. We're paying attention because we're interacting with people. And this email pops up, and it has a title that's something to the effect of, you know, urgent, life or death, please respond. And I thought, well, that sounds important. we get stuff like that often with like haunted objects and things. And so I just figured, okay, it's another haunted object type of deal. So we go through the stream. We end the stream. And I remember, oh, we got this email. So I go back and I open it up and I start reading it. And as I'm reading through it, I start to literally shake because it was just an expanded version of the email we got from David so many years earlier.
So when it finally came time to go to the quarantine points, the thing that was really strange is the night before I left, I had planned for this trip, I think, 2 weeks in advance because I had been going to school at the time. And it just happened to line up on an in-between area of my semesters. So I had some free time off. I decided to just go out, follow up on what I presumed it was going to be one of the last leads that hasn't been looked into yet. So I was literally at a laundromat late at night, literally folding my clothes, and you gave me a time. You're like, I'll be free in like 20 minutes. And Greg picks up the phone, and the first thing he says, he goes, I've been waiting for you to call me. You won't believe what just happened. I go, what? The email started again. What do you mean the email started again? And then Greg reads the craziest, scariest email I've ever heard in my life.
All right, so it's from Amy. She even has a picture attached to her Gmail address, 9:10 p.m. First, if you get this and I'm missing, take note, it's euphonauts, which is a weird fucking thing to turn to use. No one uses that.
No, you would only use that term if you knew exactly what that term was.
So you've heard that term before, being in, around military guys, right?
Yep.
Euphonauts? Okay. So they now they're going to delve into this. All right.
Exactly.
First, if you get this and I'm missing, take note, it's euphonauts. I live by Hale Bridge Road, a.k.a. Ruth Community. I heard a lady screaming bloody murder and begging for the torture to stop. I had run to rescue, found no one. I kept searching, stumbled on the uncapitalized UN space imaginable. Time is of the essence. As now, I'm a target for the next ritual and sacrifice.
Oh my God.
They are literally this whole town. Coral Cave System. My name is Amy. My date of birth is... Why would you put your date of birth in there? That's a weird...
Yeah.
Don't be
I'm
like
in
that.
serious danger and no police will do anything as they are part of this. It's government and extreme military cover-up. I found so much and there's no way to get it. Marine occult, cannibalism, human sacrifice, child torture, cave captives and creatures, everything.
Oh my God. That's all of it. It's all the stuff I've been reading and thinking about. That's all of the stuff I've been thinking about.
The Green Man. The Green Man. Hale Bridge Road. The entire community, but the heart of your Green Man is here. I lived seconds away and never seen it or suspected it, right under everyone's nose. And that's it.
I immediately became excited. I wanted to know everything. But then when he started telling me the details, I realized how paranoid he was and what was inside this email, and it took a negative turn. I flipped out. I mean, my first thought was somebody saw Hellier. Somebody saw a cut of Hellier, and now they're trying to inject themselves in this case. Someone's trying to become part of something they think they're going to get something out of. And so I lost my mind. I didn't know who to trust. It didn't help my paranoia. I'm already a paranoid person.
and working on the David case had only made me more paranoid after being in Hellier. The idea that there's something watching or someone watching and potentially messing with me and messing with people I love was a scary thought.
The heart of your green man is here.
Why does he call it the Green Man? You guys know what the Green Man is, though, right? Like the old symbolism of the Green Man.
I mean, the only thing I know about the Green Man is the Kelly Green Man.
Are we talking about pants?
Yeah.
Weird. Yeah, no, like, so the Green Man, in fact, oddly enough, like, you'll see this type of symbolism in, like, Roswell Chapel, overseas, things like that, but there's this old archetype of the Green Man where, like, you've seen it everywhere. Like, people use it. It's like a very old...
Oh, like a nature spirit.
It's a man's face in the...
Oh, yeah.
They still age you like a person, where, like, you know, like, he ages in seasons.
Right.
He turns to winter and this and that, where it's this ancient thing, but even that sounds strange where it ties in.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Like we were saying earlier, I found her court records. I know she's a real person. Her address is accurate. I can tell that she either has a husband or a brother who shares the same last name. He's in prison until 2026. So obviously she's an ostracized part of the community already. So the police wouldn't take her seriously anyway. Although it's weird because unlike David, who was a fucking doctor, supposedly, you know, now we have someone who's on the complete opposite end of the spectrum.
Yes,
and it's more like someone who's in hell.
These emails are from Hellier, though. They're from Somerset, Kentucky.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little nervous about you going by yourself with these coordinates tomorrow, to be perfectly honest.
Oh my god.
Euphonauts was definitely the first, which was one of the trigger words where we were like, who fucking knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? Who saw something?
Yeah.
So we were super freaked out, super paranoid.
Yeah.
Like, what happened?
Euphonauts is a word that's been around for decades, but
You never hear it.
Strand is the guy that uses that word. Like,
Exactly. Like, the only person I've ever heard say it outside of this case and the people involved in this case is, like, Tenny. But that's because Tenny's old school. Never heard it. Never hear it in
it's a very old school word because now it's just
you don't use it very often for anything. It's very specific.
UFOs, you know?
Yeah.
Very 1950s.
Yeah. So this first email, I'm looking at it right here. Right in the first message, she has everything condensed, and she's talking about the occult, cannibalism, human sacrifice, child torture, cave captives, creatures, everything is literally what she lays out in this first message.
That's a lot.
What set me off
Yeah.
on this paranoia?
That's a lot to unpack, right?
When you and I
It's
first
like,
started
well, can we say it like tip, like
from the
point
get-go,
A here?
before
Fuck.
Right. So I mean, like, that's just it's one. It's another person like injecting themselves into the case, but like you said,
Right.
but it's also, you know, the information she's coming out with, and the words and the terminology she's using,
Right.
is
So
very
complex.
specific, right? And it's
So
on.
many are tied together, right? I feel like they're tied together, but there's some of them are so far apart and outlandish. But it's like, wow, that's an information overload.
Right. So there was like she unpacked on them like rapid, like, you need to know now. Here I am, who I am, and blah blah blah. So
Remember when I brought up randomly? I
craziness.
said, have you ever looked into these missing persons cases? That seemed strange. I had always been bugging you about the Goblin case because it fascinated me. And way earlier, after one of the first things I researched about you was that case. And that resonated with me because way back years ago, I actually received this book. I actually think I got this for Christmas, oddly enough. It's basically a compilation of just really bizarre reports that don't really fit the bill of anything. And one of the category of reports that always stuck with me more than anything else were the subterranean tales. And those tales had to do with cave captives, people being kept underground, these kind of weird, sadistic type scenarios. So the second this email came through, and the second I had been on that tangent about missing persons along the Appalachian Range, it all clicked in my head. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know.
Yep.
I didn't know who to trust. The only thing that seemed right at the time was Strand was preparing to go to the coordinates from the wrist emails literally the next day. The timing was so suspicious. It was so suspicious. And Strand, who was previously really excited to go to the coordinates, was now losing his mind, freaking out, because I mean, I remember reading him the emails on the phone.
Okay, so here's something that just like this is like a plot hole that I feel like in the story, because we have Google Satellite now, and you can just type in those same coordinates and you can see what's there on Google Satellite. But see, what these guys are hoping is that Google Satellite was either tricked or somebody deleted that photo frame and overlaid it with just forest so that you couldn't see what was actually there. So, so if you're wondering why they didn't just use Google and look at it through Google, and that's why, is because they wanted to actually see it without digital technology. They wanted to see it firsthand, what's there.
Right.
So
seeing is believing.
Yep. So just for everybody out there in the public world, why you're not getting that route or anything is like they obviously just showed us a Google map of Somerset, right? So they can do that. But these guys, they were talking, and what they're talking about is like they want to be able to see it for, seeing is believing, and no digital alteration of anything.
Right.
And hearing him get concerned because he was going by himself alone to a place he'd never been before that's in the mountains. It was really scary and frightening and really frustrating. I lost my shit. And it made me really paranoid. Really, for months. I mean, I'm still paranoid about it. Because we don't know what to do with it yet.
I told Dana not too long before you called. It's I don't know. I can't shake the feeling that there's somebody or something with some weird overarching view that went, yep, here you go. It's the right time. Boom.
Okay.
So I'm going to email back at 3:58 this morning.
No, but tell me. No, first of all, tell me the research that we did last night.
One of her relatives is in prison for 10 years. Another one's in prison for 20. They are a very rough group of people and clearly have a lot of legal problems.
Yeah.
Not the type of people you just want to get mixed up with.
No.
You good?
Yeah.
So, this woman, Amy, wrote back at 3:58 a.m.
3:58 a.m.
Holy shit. You ready?
God, Greg.
Wicked Marine Occult. In July, me and my ex-boyfriend was staying in a camper near the lake. It's very secluded, no running water, no electricity, nothing but nature. Me and him and a few flashlights and beam lanterns.
Late
one night, we believed a bobcat screamed.
Then it got deeper and began saying words, pleading for whoever or whatever to stop the torture. I immediately ran to rescue. My boyfriend grabbed me and pulled me back in, maniacally turning lights off and covering my mouth. He said, there's nothing we can do for her with no weapons besides getting ourselves killed too. I had to listen to her for the next 30 minutes until she grew silent. Finally, daylight came and I began the hunt, tracking and marking each track as I searched. I hiked to discover a
baby
cabin
cries
that
trippy.
in fact, had been familiar with for 17 years. It seemed like I was seeing the cabin for the first time. Caged windows and doors, and not one but two thick log chains, and a gate across the drive with military-grade padlocks on the thick metal cage entrance. No way in. Mind you, I was determined to help, so I crawled in under the cage and went in against my better judgment. Beds were chained to rafters. In the attic, blood and feces stained the beds. Trap doors, booby traps. weird designs of human bones. I found bleeding bowls, human teeth, bone carvings, weird photos, and a lot of paperwork. They have a system. They park cars at them and set timers for the power, and then they tunnel underground.
God.
Faces in the trees. I called the police, and they all but told me they needed more. I had nothing but breaking and entering to go with. I found that I now was in definite danger when I learned that they were performing rituals based on pagan Wiccan beliefs. I'm alone with no family or friends. All have been ruined by this craziness. I'm terribly scared and have found that this entire town is a part of it. It's ground zero. The out-of-towners or members and the local elders, well, they're all aware. Trust me, the caves and the caverns and mines go from Virginia to Ohio to Indiana to Tennessee. I have a boat to take to the entrance, but I do not want to go in them again until I know I have backup that they're afraid of. The gatekeeper is the scariest of them all. He can actually perform magic. Trust me, I'm a skeptic. I literally began to suffocate as he whispered and blew me a kiss, holding this curved, weird walking stick and a crystal. Most everyone I know is involved. The CIA and the Marines and Navy. It is so insane that I almost didn't write you, expecting you to write it off. But I'm out of options and will, in fact, be murdered in these hills if someone doesn't help me. I've seen things that will blow your mind and forever change your reality for good. It did mine, and now I'm scared, alone, and hopeless, and I'm turning to you. Please, tread quietly.
I don't know. This is just unbridled insanity. She just emailed again. It's 12:17 p.m. I can't go back to get photos of the blood, hair, teeth. I have them actually in a secure location. 2 is a link. 3, the Green Man is a god they worship. I believe that they held their victims captive underground. You always hear the hum of the ground. It's exactly what Tyler was talking about last night.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what else is very strange. It's exactly what David said. You realize that, right? It's like this is another.
Yeah, but David sent pictures.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that this is the equivalent of a David email. All of these years later.
Yeah.
It's someone trying to get us to go out to the fucking middle of nowhere in Kentucky.
She gave her name, her date of birth. She gave addresses. It was like an answer to the David emails in a way. Everything that frustrated us about the original case. Everything that frustrated us
That's why
about going
sketchy.
to Hellier. Finding out
Right?
that David was a ghost.
Right. So remember, they had such a hard time with this David guy, right? But I think what it was is this David guy was a doctor, but he didn't tell them what kind of doctor he was. Now,
Right.
if you have a doctorate in, say, scientific engineering and data, like if you're a doctor of computer science and shit, and you have that kind of a doctorate, you're still a doctor.
Right.
Now, if that
I was
person
gonna be
knew
a doctor
enough,
of science.
that person knew enough to hide his IP and to hide his real name. Okay.
Right. And even throw him off with a fake IP, even, all that.
Yep. So, and the Somerset was one of the places where the IP was coming from.
Right. True.
From the last guy, I think. That was one of the tags they had put out for the last guy. It was like California, Somerset, Hellier, and Louisiana, and somewhere off the East Coast, like right off by the water, New York or Maine or something like that. So,
right.
All right. So now we're delving into, like you said, that she is describing the behavior of a team of euphonauts. So let's keep going.
That we didn't have an address for his house, that we had to just take a lot of that stuff on faith. Those answers were served up on a silver platter in these emails. It wasn't until the Beltane holiday that I realized it was to be a holiday feast. Big South Fork is where they have held Little Green Man for ages. Slough is actually little troll-looking things, but powerful. But now she's saying Slough, S-L-U-F, like on the coordinate.
Slough, stupid little ugly fuckers.
Damn.
Slough is on the coordinates.
Yeah, on the old picture of the coordinates. Who's an old Vietnam War guy, supposedly, and Slough. The only real reference to it is old slang from the Vietnam War that meant short little ugly fucker.
See?
Which was like a racist term for the Vietnamese.
That's fucked up, but
Short little ugly fucker. Goblins.
Yeah.
And he wrote it on this picture, this whatever this thing is that he sent.
Okay.
interesting.
This is getting very fucking weird and making me very suspicious.
Little troll-looking things, but powerful. I found the entire system.
I'm wigged out the whole time. I'm driving. The next day comes by, I pack all my stuff, and I start driving for, I think, seven hours in North Carolina. And the whole time, I'm just... I don't even know what's going through my head. I'm thinking about all this stuff.
Slough? That's on the coordinates that Tyler's going to right now. Why would she drop that word right now? He's literally on the way there. Who the fuck is this person? What is happening? I am so fucking paranoid and confused.
See, that's the key. You can't let that shit get in your head.
No.
Our brain is the most powerful thing out there.
1:35 p.m. 28.
All right, he's here. He is here. This is...
My name is Tyler Strand, and I'm about to head to the Terry Rest coordinate points. Again, my drive for curiosity, and my drive to want to know what's going on overrides fear.
It's common sense.
I still want to
The fear, yeah.
I still wanted to know.
Email 4.
It's 2:37 p.m. She's emailed back. You fortunately have been already on their radar, significantly enough. I was told to contact you from a man named Doug. He said to be sure I made it clear I had been in contact, so if I do get taken, it will further put them under scope, so they might be hesitant. There's too much in this location that they can't just pack up. I have seen them. I have been firsthand with the fact that it's us, military, Wolfpack, Marines, occult, aka euphonauts. I'm sorry I have nothing to show you. Believe me, I have had everything taken from me. I even had paperwork from the children they keep in the mines.
Okay. So oddly enough, I'm almost at the coordinate points. I don't see anything there. But what's super weird, I found this balloon here, and I think it's the same balloon I found that other piece through.
I finally reached probably within 20 feet of the pinpoint. And on the ground, I see in the middle of the forest this really old, shiny balloon on the ground. I pick it up. It's a happy birthday balloon. Just kind of laying there.
Just in the middle of the woods, middle of nowhere, almost like they had a balloon marking this spot. It's right up there. Right through there.
spot, when I reached it, was one part confusion, one part disappointment, with maybe a little bit of relief that I finally found it. And it was disappointment because there was nothing there. The exact pinpoint spot, there was nothing there. There was nothing hidden that I could tell. There was nothing in the land's geography that made me think there was some kind of rock outcropping that maybe had some cave entrance. The particular location of the exact coordinate spots is very, very mundane.
Yeah, LiDAR would be the best thing you could scope that with. Because there could be a vertical opening in the ground. You can't see it.
There's nothing here. Oh my God, dude, you know what? I walked up to this big gnarly tree, and it looks fresh, like somebody came in and just fucking decimated a tree, like blew it apart. It's so fucked up. It doesn't look like there's anything here that's being covered by this debris. I don't even know how this tree was taken down. Like, was it just cut and it blew off that way with the bark?
What's strange is when I'm standing on the spot.
All right. So here's what I think. And now I think that this tree that he found is a big evidence piece. But what it is that's what they were being told to go look for. I think that's why they had those coordinates. I think they were told to go look at this. And they're told to go look at it for a couple of reasons. One, I think this tree was like this for a long period of time. Two, it looks like it's fresh. Like he said, it looks so fresh. But what I think is I think whatever that stuff is that's on the trees and stuff, because that's not normal. That's not natural. There's some shit on them. That stuff looks like if it were to be disturbed by like an explosion or something, it would like kill that stuff, right? So that stuff's been there for a while. So even though it looks like it's fresh, there's signs of that growth or whatever that makes it look like it's been there for a while too.
Right, gotcha.
Like, at first, I'm like, oh, is this the rumble on the ground? It's the rumble on the ground. Holy shit. Helicopter. Oh my God. Look at that. Oh shit, they know I'm here.
What?
And then right over my head, whoa. This helicopter.
Yeah, it's so random.
He's like straight over me. And whether that was just coincidence or not, in this paranoid state, I'm like, somebody knows I'm here. I'm thinking somebody knows I'm here. I hurry up. That's actually the first thing I say when I call Greg back. I think somebody knows I'm here. This might be coincidence. A fucking helicopter just flew right over my head, right in line with where I'm standing. I don't know, man. I'm waking up clearly still paranoid because we're thinking like these people want us dead. Like, because at this point in time, you had emails that said they're aware of you. You've been on their radar for quite some time.
You fortunately have already been on their radar. Significantly enough. I was told to contact you from a man named Doug.
Who the fuck is Doug? Who the fuck is Doug?
God damn it, we were so close. We were so fucking close. I'm here. I'm fucking here. There should be something fucking here, and maybe there was. And now the marker's gone. Oh.
And I think that was when I realized. On your wedding day, we'll help you look your best. Men's Warehouse. Love the way you look. 3:18 p.m. Another email.
What emails is 6?
9 altogether with back and forth. Doug's real name, he asked I didn't speak of. He says you know him by the warning.
Oh my god.
He won't allow me to speak anymore. His emails are not safe, neither his telephone.
By the warning?
He says you know him by the warning.
Who?
It's Terry.
Who the fuck is this?
And that's when I made a fatal mistake. I either went to text you guys a message or something. I ended up swiping out of my compass that I was using to navigate. And the reception was so poor in the woods, it couldn't open up again. It couldn't refresh. And I was running out of battery power at this point in time on my phone. And I just couldn't, for life of me, again, it's weird. I had made notes earlier, but it glitched out in my head, and I couldn't remember what direction I had walked in. So I'm like, okay,
here's a great tip, people.
And I ended up walking.
Do not depend on your electronic equipment. If you're going out in the fucking woods to do some fuck around shit, you don't want to find out. So take a fucking real compass. I promise you will thank me.
Yeah, you better know how to read the damn trees or something.
Something. Do not depend on your fucking phone. Get yourself a fucking compass or learn to read the sun.
Exactly. What I learned was see up where I live, the moss grows on trees on a specific side of the trees. So that's what we learned. You walk one direction of the moss or whatever.
Right.
There'll always be a road if you walk one way. Like it's some weird rule. But that's what they tell you when you get lost in the woods, so you don't end up going in circles.
For what?
Well, some parts of the country that don't work, but
yeah, I just try to find sunny spots and use a stick. Always use a sundial. That'll tell you everything you need to know.
Oh yeah, because it'll tell you where the sun is, and you can obviously know what time of day it is.
Yeah, well that helps, but that gives you instant direction.
Mm-hmm.
I pushed through.
Oh yeah, definitely.
My legs were giving out. I reached the top of this ridge. Way off in the distance, I seen a small little road. On that little road, I seen these little dots moving. Those little dots were cars and vehicles.
Nice.
It's the first sign of civilization.
And always go downhill. Follow the water.
I walked on a directional, straight path. I began seeing a trail cam, some tree stands, and those led me out onto a gravel road where there were houses. Civilization, and I realized at that point that I succeeded.
But yeah, there was nothing that seemed important at the time. I know he said that there was a weird vibe to the place, but it was one of those things that it just made me think of Hellier, or maybe we were there too late. Maybe we didn't go after it in time. Or maybe we're missing something. I don't know.
Yeah. I think they're onto something, but Hellier
I just assumed he was pointing us around mountain. That was just an assumption on my part. But coordinates are so specific. They're so specific. It just was so
pointed. They could be random. Within maybe 1,000 meters, it could be random, and you could get... There's got to be something in a radius. I would choose the coordinates and then pick a radius because they're not just specific. They could be if you were like, oh, here's a road, turn here, yeah. But if you're in the middle of the woods, I would think take that coordinate and turn it into a radius search, to find more evidence. But, I mean, it did lead them to the tree, but still, there's got to be more evidence of where did that come from possibly. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think his the first mistake they had when they let him go out there by himself was letting him go by himself.
Right, you never go by battle buddies.
He clearly and honestly, openly admits to all the mistakes he made while he was doing this investigation.
Gotcha.
He did a really bad job with this investigation. He should have had 2 more people on his team. They should have been, fully charged batteries. That was a mistake he made. Low battery. Should have had like a power pack just to juice your battery up one time, just in case you came into an EF field. Because if you go into an EF field, your battery's going to drain real fast. And
Right.
if we're talking about like euphonauts and stuff like that, EF fields are very common when you're looking at these types of operations. So you're going to want to have something to power you up fast.
That EF field fucks with your brain too. It can make you confused. It's called the fear cage.
Yeah, and it can, definitely, it can activate the fear inside your brain and cause you to have those fast motions of, oh crap, I got to get out of here.
Paranormal or paranoid thoughts, that racing of anxieties.
Exactly. So we have a few more minutes to go on this. We got 10 more minutes.
I don't understand. I don't understand it. There was one other lead I had to follow up on, and it was the mystery of who lived inside the house that was near the boarding points. I just wanted it to be over, but I still had that thirst. It was now or never. I was confronted with a fairly large white house, 2 stories, very, very open. So I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know who was living here. I didn't know if it was going to be Terry Wrist. I didn't know if it might be something like Indrid Cold. I mean, there was so much mystery behind who lived at this location.
I end up getting to this house. And as I'm walking this door, all these dogs are going off, barking. And I hit the doorbell and wait.
And the first sign of movement that I seen was an elderly woman approach the door. Looked to be in her late 60s or so. And at that point, when she opened the door to ask who I was, I was very transparent. I wanted to. I realized I wouldn't get the answers if I just didn't outright tell her why I was there. So I told her in brief, these quarantine points seem to be near your property in the woods. So I was just curious if there was anything inside of the forest or if there was anything of interest. And I kind of went down this detailed list of asking her about the forest and if there was anything strange that she's ever seen in the area. She was very, very matter of fact. Just no, there's been nothing strange. But there was one, apart from their nature of just being very open with me being very open with them, there was something that caught my eye.
The element that we have right here is there was a very distinct carving on a tree that was right next to us. Just out from their porch, probably 10, 20 feet away. And I've been staring at this carving the whole time I'm talking to these people. And I go, that's a very interesting carving on that tree. I go, is that a green man? And then the woman turns to me, she goes, no, it's just an old man.
In my paranoia, I'm thinking, are these people a part of this case?
Yeah, so I mean, I wrapped things up. I thanked them for their time. I got in my car, and that's when I drove back down that driveway, and I actually pulled in. I pulled into the church for one last call to call you guys, and I go, well, but follow it up. I know who's there. So I call you guys, and in the middle of telling you what just happened, I get a knock on my window. Don't. It startles me. I'm like, no. And I look,
and there's a man there in a sweater vest, and he was actually a sheriff.
I roll window down. He's like, I'm like, stay on the line. I'm like, I'm like, stay on the line. I'm like, there's a cop here.
He asks, he goes, hey there, what are you doing here?
I go, I'm just driving from Pennsylvania. I'm actually geocaching. I'm like, I'm actually about to go back to Pennsylvania now.
He took my information. He took my details. I gave him my ID, and he walks back to his vehicle. And he was there for quite some time. And the whole time he's there, I'm talking to Greg and Dana. I'm like, what's going on? So he comes back with my information. He says, well, everything seems to check out. And I had made it very clear that I was on my way out of North Carolina. So he asked the speaker, he goes, you are leaving North Carolina, right? Very, very demanding. I said, oh yeah, I'm just about to leave now, about to head back to Pennsylvania.
He goes, there's a lot of people who come and talk to me. He goes, I know everyone in this town. He goes, and we take note if strange men appear in this town and start asking questions.
As he walked away and I started my car, I ended up pulling backward. And as I pulled back to start my drive, I realized not only was this undercover cop there, but an entire squadron of undercover cops were there that followed me out on my drive out of North Carolina until they pulled off.
Dun dun dun.
Mr. Sheriff, something's wrong. In on the planes ain't got too long. They left just a hymn of a tiny song. My pity. So I didn't tell anyone else about the emails for 4 months. We just sat and dug in on them. Strand did research, and Dana did research, and I did some, but it honestly just made me really nervous. I kind of just wanted to put it out of my head. And everything we found was just more and more concerning. And like clockwork, she disappeared. Stopped answering emails. Left it at this cliffhanger, saying she had information.
Of course.
She had proof of all of these claims about euphonauts and secret rituals in caves and sacrifices and very scarier versions of the stuff in Hellier. And then she disappeared.
All right.
And there you have it.
Close my wrist is why did you stop when you were so close?
He got scared.
The coordinates aside, can you think of anything else from that trip that it might have been referencing?
I didn't think about that till now. But what experiment did we just try? Like, I thought, let's do the alien abduction experiment. What if that is it?
Did you stop the experiment?
Yeah. Yeah, we had such a bad experience with the experiment. Yeah, we never tried doing that again. Not that variation. Well, not about aliens. We've continued to work with hypnosis. But the idea of using that to do an alien abduction, like it's was genuinely one of the scariest things I've ever seen and probably ever instigated, simply because of the implications of it. Because I never put two and two together. This is what's funny. This is weird. We went to Brown Mountain not with the intention of finding an alien cave base. That wasn't the fucking point. That was something that was brought up by Micah. All the other shit with like the goblin stuff was like not anything that seemed related at all. It just seemed like at the time Micah brought up alien cave base, and we thought, oh fuck, we got something like an alien cave base. That was just an aside. It just kind of became the theme of that as we worked on Hellier. What we were actually doing was we were at Brown Mountain to try and get abducted.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
I don't fucking know.
Bam. And there's your dynamite. So, right now, they're investigating and they're getting stonewalled. Like, their stone walls are just, coming left and right every time they get to a certain point. you think they're going to make some progress, but it's like, bam. Well, what's crazy is this is the first mention of this whole situation, your green man thing, right?
Right.
Pan, the old man in the tree, whatever you want to call him. Basically, there's two types of people that follow this person. Now, the UFOnauts, from my studying of them, aren't always aliens and flying saucers. Okay, it's like what I've learned is they're actually secret organizations that work closely with the aliens and the flying saucers, and they call them UFOnauts, as in saying these are our people who work with those questionable things we don't understand, right? And they sometimes they would either protect or they would defend sensitive areas like Area 51. There, it's the most famous of America's crazy places, right? Well,
Right.
you could technically declare all of the military people who work at Area 51 as UFOnauts. You could you could give them that title because of the secrecy they work under. So that's one aspect of what a UFOnaut is, and those green men followers. And the other ones are just those malevolent spellcasters who just want to better their lives and stuff through worship of one of the oldest gods in the world. That's something they also don't tell you in this episode, but if you research Pan or the Green Man, you'll come to find that he's Celtic, and he's older than Jesus. He's older than Buddha, Allah. He's older than Thor and Odin. He is like one of the first, like when it was back in the Druids and the Druids worshipped nature. That was the god they spoke to and convened with and stuff. So that's kind of going to give you guys like the lead off. The explanations and what I've delved into and done for research for that. But the next episode is going to be even better. But I don't remember exactly what the next episode is, but they do go back onto the track of the Green Man. So that's why it's so important to. This was like one of those super key episodes that I just really wanted to get through. But it's that's just one of the things. It's so crazy. And always watching, always looking. So there you go. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out at the Late Night Load. And so we will see you guys on the next show tomorrow, Friday Night Kit Bash and Late Night Load with Web C. So those are going to be 2 shows tomorrow. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm done. I'm gone.
Out of here.